This is Wells Math, and I'm going to show you how to subtract using mixed numbers. Now, this is actually part two of this video. In part one, I'll work the same two exact problems that I'm about to work now, except I use a different strategy to solve those problems. So check out this way, and then go check out that part one video, figure out which way you like to do it best. So we have 3 1/3 minus 2 3/4. The first step we're going to do using this method is find a common denominator. Okay, so we're looking at the 3 and the 4, the two denominators here, and we're thinking about the smallest number that both of them will divide evenly into. Okay, the first thing that comes to my mind is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 3 is 12. And 3 and 4 will divide evenly into that number. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to write my 12. Now our whole numbers are not changing, so I'm going to keep that big 3. We'll keep the big 2 over here. And we'll write our common denominators of 12. Now, we cannot just bring the numerators down. That 1 and that 3, both of our numerators, if the denominators change, the numerators will have to change. So here's what you'll do. We're going to look at this 3, and I'm going to say, how did I turn that 3 into a 12? What multiplication problem did I do? Well, 3 times 4 equals 12. So now I'm just going to do the same multiplication problem up top. 1 times 4 is 4, so I will bring that down. 3 1/3 is the same thing as 3 4/12. Now let's move over to our other side. How did we turn this 4 into a 12? Well, we multiplied it times 3. So we will do the same thing on top. 3 times 3 is 9, so we will bring our 9 down, okay? So basically, these two problems that you see are the exact same problems, just using different numbers, all right? So now, when you get to this situation, you have a common denominator. In some cases, you can just subtract your whole numbers and then subtract your numerators. But I want you to look at your two numerators. You have a 4 and a 9, and it says 4 minus 9. Well, unfortunately, we have a problem there. If you only have 4 bananas, you can't take away 9, okay? It's impossible. You only have 4, all right? So this is what we do, and it's called regrouping. I've taught this lesson to a lot of students. I told you there's a part one to this lesson. Some kids prefer to do the other way, the other method, because of this regrouping, but it's really not that bad. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to take away 1 from this whole number, 3. Well, when we take away 1 from 3, we're going to get 2. Okay? Now, a whole is the same as 12 little pieces. This is what our denominator tells us. It takes 12 pieces to make a whole. So that one whole that we took away, we're going to add that to our numerator. That's like 12 little pieces. So we're going to add 12 little pieces. Let's see what happened to my end there. Hold on just a second. We're going to add 12 little pieces to that 4, okay? Because one whole is the same as 12 of those small pieces. So 12 plus the 4 that we already have up there is 16. And then we will keep our denominator the same. So 3 and 4/12 is really the same thing as 2 and 16/12. You might be saying, well, Mr. Wells, why are we regrouping here? Well, it's because we could not subtract 4 minus 9. So now we can bring down our other mixed number, 2 and 9/12. And now our first numerator is bigger than our second one. 16 and 9. If you have 16 bananas, you can definitely take away 9. I don't know what my obsession with bananas are today. It just came to me. So now, once we get to this point, we have a common denominator. Our first numerator is bigger than our second numerator. We can subtract our whole numbers. 2 minus 2 is, well, that's just 0. We can subtract our numerators. 16 minus 9 is what, 7? And then you will keep your denominators the same. The answer to this problem is 7/12. Like I said, I worked this exact same problem in the part 1 of this video. So if you want to see a different way to do it, check that out. Then you can decide which way you like the best. Let's work one more of these. I'm going to go just a little bit quicker with this one. We have 4 1/2. I encourage you to pause this video and write this problem down. Minus 2 3/5. Step 1, get that common denominator. I'm going to bring down my whole number here. Put my subtraction sign. I'm rewriting my problem here. Now, I'm looking at these two denominators, 2 and 5. I'm thinking about the smallest number that both of them will divide into. That number is going to be 10. Like I've mentioned before, when talking about common denominators, if you're just looking for a common denominator, you can always multiply these two denominators together. It's not always your best option because you may have to simplify your answer at the end. But with this one, it worked just fine. We cannot just bring those numerators down, though, for our new problem. We have to ask ourselves, how did we change that 2 into a 10? What did we multiply it by? Well, we multiplied it times 5. So we will do the same to the top here. 1 times 5 is 5. So really 4 1/2 is the same as 4 5/10. Let's do the same thing to the other side. How did we turn this 5 into a 10? What did we multiply it by? Well, we multiplied it times 2. So we will do the same thing to the top. 3 times 2 is 6. I'm kind of craving a banana. Now we have 4 5/10 minus 2 6/10. Well, I'm already seeing the problem, the same problem that we ran into on the last subtraction problem we did. So normally we would subtract our whole numbers here, 4 minus 2, okay? And then we would subtract our numerators. But look, it's a 5 and a 6. If you have 5 bananas, you can't take away 6 of them. We need to regroup. Now, let me make this clear. If your first numerator is bigger than your second one, then yes, you can just go ahead and do the subtraction problem, and you do not have to worry about regrouping at all. That would be a super easy problem to work, okay? But because we cannot do 5 minus 6, that's why we are regrouping. That is the only reason we are regrouping, okay? I just want to make that very clear. All right, so we need to do some regrouping because 5 is smaller than 6. So we're going to take 1 away from our whole number 4, and that's going to leave us with a 3. Now, 1 whole is the same as 10 little bitty pieces. And I know that because that's what our denominator tells us. Our denominator tells us how many pieces does it take to make a whole? Well, with this one, it takes 10. So since we took a whole group away from the 4, we're going to add those 10 little pieces to our numerator. And there's already 5 up there. So 10 plus 5 is 15. Getting a little excited today about this. I don't know why. All right, so 4 5/10 is really the same thing as 3 15/10. Now, when we bring down the rest of our problem, we see we've got a common denominator. Our first numerator is bigger than our second one. 15 is bigger than 6. So let's follow our third step now. Subtract your whole numbers. 3 minus 2 is 1. 15 minus 6 is, what's that? 15 minus 6, that is 9. And we will keep the denominators the same. There you go. If you want to see this exact same problem using the exact same numbers worked in a different way, go check out part 1 of this video. Hope this has been helpful. Have a great day.